Hey guys, today Big Daddy and I want to introduce you to one of my favorite Mississippi stories, the one about singer-songwriter Bobbie Gentry. Come along with us. Let's go explore. Welcome to Woodland, Mississippi. This is close to the spot where Bobbie Gentry was born as Roberta Lee Streeter on July the 27th, 1942. She grew up on her father's parents' farm, or her grandparents' farm, a little bit outside of Woodland, which you're looking around now. They didn't have electricity and they were, well, pretty poor. She said once that her grandmother noticed how much that she liked music, so Grandma traded one of her milk cows for the neighbor's piano. When Bobbie was still young, she would listen to blues and jazz music from a New Orleans radio station on an old battery-powered radio, and she would then go to the piano and try to pick out the tunes. When she was 7, she composed her first song, "My Dog Sergeant is a Good Dog." She used only the black keys because that's how she watched the pianist play in church. At some point, she left Woodland in Chickasaw County to live with her father in Greenwood, Mississippi, and while there, she learned to play the guitar and the banjo. This is a photo that makes its rounds around Facebook every year around the 3rd of June, and it's of Bobbie in a little general store in a place called Hohenlinden, not too far from Woodland, Mississippi. Bobbie picked up her stage name from the 1952 film Ruby Gentry. Her mother's name was Ruby, and well, she liked that name, and so she just started using it. I'm going to show you some partial pictures of her album covers while I tell you a few more facts from her life. This album is Delta Sweetie from 1968. Bobbie graduated high school in 1960 and went to UCLA before enrolling at the Los Angeles Conservatory of Music, where she took classes in music theory, composition, and arranging. This is local Gentry, also from 1968. While in LA, she had a brief career modeling swimsuits and also sang and danced in the nightclubs of Los Angeles and Las Vegas all the time she was writing her own songs. This album is Bobbie Gentry and Glenn Campbell, also from 1968. Bobbie began her recording career with rockabilly legend Jody Reynolds. She was attending a concert of his at a club in Palm Springs and asked if she could sit in on a song. This happened in 1966. After she sat down on the song, she was invited to do a couple duets with Jody. They were Stranger in the Mirror and Requiem for Love. These were released in September of '66. At this point in her career, Bobbie's goal was to write songs and sell them to other artists. She told the Washington Post one time that she only sang on Ode To Billy Joe, and the other track that she took to Capitol Records called Mississippi Delta. She only sang on those tracks because, well, it was cheaper than hiring a professional. It was the track Mississippi Delta that got her hired. Bobbie released Ode To Billy Joe on the 10th of July, 1967, and it knocked the Beatles out of the #1 album spot on the 26th of August. One of the cool things I think about the ballad is that you just can never be really certain what was thrown off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Bobbie has been quoted as saying that wasn't important. The mystery of the song is one that truly can never be fully resolved. This is the Mississippi Country Music Trail marker right beside the Tallahatchie River Bridge in Greenwood, Mississippi. It will tell you a lot of information, most of which you already know now. Let's talk a little bit more about Bobbie Gentry's albums. You know about Ode to Billy Joe in 1967 and the Delta Sweetie in 1968. Well, I like to say Sweetie anyway, not sure that that's the correct pronunciation. Local Gentry was the Capitol Record album in 1968, and Bobbie Gentry and Glenn Campbell on Capitol Records in 1968 as well. She also did some work with Tom Jones and the Moody Blues and Rosalind and her quartet on the Tom Jones show with BBC in 1968. She did an album, Touch 'Em With Love, in Capitol Records in 1969. And she released the album Fancy with Capitol Records in 1970. Bobbie Gentry had a very busy 1968 as she became the first female singer-songwriter with her own show on the BBC. The show became wildly successful and was syndicated all over the world except for in America. She basically directed and produced the show, but the BBC would not give artists, directors credits. Bobbie was quoted as saying she liked to be involved in a lot of different things, so she liked working in the medium of television. You could be involved in lighting, you could be involved in sets, or even choreography. Bobbie's final album in 1971, Patchwork, was entirely self-written and self-produced.
Hey guys, we're in Greenwood on the Tallahatchie River Bridge, the spot that inspired Bobbie Gentry's hit, Ode to Billy Joe.
Before we move on to the movie, I need to remind you that Bobbie not only had a singing career, but she had a stage career as well. She started performing in Vegas as early as 1968 and really enjoyed being able to arrange all the music, design the costumes, do the choreography, just take care of everything completely from her inception all the way through the performance. Bobbie even performed on stage her tribute to Elvis Presley, witnessed one night by fellow Mississippian, the King himself. Bobbie's last production was in September of 1980 at the Sahara in Vegas. In May of '81, she was one of the guest stars on the NBC special An All-Star Salute to Mother's Day. And then, in April of '82, she made her last public appearance at the Country Music Awards. She was 40 years old. As far as I know, since April of '82, she has not recorded or she's not done any performing and hasn't even been interviewed again. The movie Ode to Billy Joe was released in 1976, and it starred Robbie Benson and Glennis O'Connor, and it's probably one of the big reasons that a group of Mississippians gathered at this spot a few days ago, in fact, and dedicated this monument to, yes, the fictional character of Billie Joe McAllister. The group seemed to have had fun memorializing the impact that Billie Joe McAllister and real authors and musicians like Bobbie Gentry have had on the great state of Mississippi and, of course, the world. The marker is located at a place called the Tallahatchie Flats outside of Greenwood. If you've made it to this point in the video, I need to remind you, if you're watching on a smartphone, to turn it like this, touch that little red word, subscribe, and that way you can stay up to date on Big Daddy and I as we travel through the Mississippi Delta. Big Daddy and I hope you've learned a little bit about Bobbie Gentry today, and we especially want to encourage you to search for her on YouTube and listen to some of her incredible music. Thank you.